And I think we up. Yes, we are. What's up, G Show Land, and welcome to another episode of the G Show Podcast. I am G1, and this is the Godzilla Block Party live streaming edition on a late Friday night. Once again, we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a very long week. And before we start anything, I just want to go on record and say I am sorry. I'm apologizing to everybody from last week because we thought we were getting a trailer. I honestly believed with everything we were getting a trailer, and we did not get a trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong at all. And that was so disappointing and disrespectful and a slap in the face, and yeah, it just made my blood boil, and there was so much going on, and I mean, well, we're going to get into all that, reactions and why we think there wasn't no trailer, and not only was there no trailer, but could the possibility of this movie now be delayed once again? Another pushback? We're going to talk about all that stuff in this upcoming Godzilla Block Party podcast. Joining me as always is my right hand when it comes to Godzilla on the G Show, my brother G73, aka Megsy, aka Chase. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing alright. Can you hear me alright?
Yes, sir. How's it going over there?
Yeah, man, it's a power outage. It's raining, and there's no lights. My street's dark. My house is dark. I have no Wi-Fi. So if I start sounding like a robot, it's because, well, I can't control how I sound.
It's because secretly you're an Exilian. That's what it is. All right, so listen.
I am one of the nanites from the Mecha Godzilla in the anime.
Don't you go there. Don't. Let's not go there.
Everything in Chrome.
Well, it's been such an uneventful week when it comes to Godzilla news, and that's not really true. It was uneventful because we didn't get a trailer last week. The last time we did a podcast, we were certain the trailer was coming. We did a podcast, I believe it was Saturday night. It was Saturday night last week, and I was certain
right before CCXP.
Right before CCXP, certain that we were going to get a trailer. And I had said on Saturday that we would come back on if we got a trailer. We would definitely be on reviewing that trailer. We didn't get a trailer, that's why we didn't come back on. What we did get, though, was another Sizzle Reel that had another 3-second clip of Godzilla vs. Kong. 2 new images. You can see them up here right now. Godzilla swimming up from the depths, and Kong roaring out and what looks like a challenge. He's got a collar on his neck. The implications are insane. There's so many people speculating. There's so many different things. They were, honestly, once I saw that on Sunday of last week, at the start of the CCXP 6 hours, at the very start of the 6 hours, I called everybody I knew and was like, we're getting a trailer. It's happening. It's absolutely happening. We're going to be on.
You woke me up.
Yeah, that's right. I woke you up. And because there was no doubt we weren't getting a trailer. So I get everybody on the phone. We do basically a watch party, but we didn't live stream it. We just, for ourselves, in our own little world, did a watch party. Because, I mean, you never knew when this was coming in. I didn't want to do a live stream through the muck and dregs of, Warner Brothers stuff that we don't care about. So I did. I saw a million other people doing it, and that was fine. That was cool. But we decided to stay away from all that because, again, it wasn't nothing worthy happening. When that trailer hit, then we were going to go on, and we were going to dissect it, and we were going to go crazy and hang out and just, have a good time. But 2 hours pass and we got nothing. Hour 3 comes by and we're like, all right, maybe it happens here. No, nothing. We get into hour 4. Still nothing. All right, we got 2 hours left, fellas. Hour 5 rolls on. Nah, nothing. There's a lot of DC stuff, but no movies. We got 2 movies: Tom and Jerry at the top of the show, and Dune in the middle of the show. And Dune was when I thought, here we go. We're starting with the movies. This is it. Nope. More DC stuff, and then they ended with Wonder Woman. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. They just ended. No trailer. For 6 hours, we were here. We sat here for 6 hours on a Sunday morning into the afternoon and waited for, what? Hopefully, something. We waited for something that was going to give us joy in this year of misery, and it never came. And to say we were disappointed was a freaking understatement of the year.
It literally was like a year without a Santa Claus.
Yeah, seriously. Seriously.
A year without a Godzilla Claus.
It seems like it's going to be a year. It's going to be further than a year without a Godzilla clause. And I'm not talking about like Santa Claus or Godzilla's hand clause. I'm talking about a clause in Godzilla's contract. We're going to talk about that because there's some scary news coming out that might affect Godzilla versus Kong, and it's not good news, and that's what's scaring me to death because I'm like, all right, hang on, we can't do this, we can't go back to this shit, we can't not get this movie coming out, and I think my brother Chase here has jinxed it because he has constantly said, oh, this movie's not coming out when they say it's going to come out, and it got pushed back, and then he's like, it's not coming out in November, and it got pushed back, and then he was saying, it's not coming out in May, and then everything pointed to it's coming out in May, like, official word, it's coming out in May, and I'm like, it's coming out in May, what do you got to say now? And he was like, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, and now, it looks like there is a very slim possibility that Godzilla vs. Kong might not come out in May. And that's...
I only said like it may or may not just because with them announcing the hybrid. I was still on more of the fence of like, yeah, I still don't see it, but I wasn't going to get into that can of worms.
Well, shit. I mean, and it's absolutely nuts. So, all right, real quick. No trailer. I was completely disappointed, bro. I know I woke you up for this, and what was your reaction to not getting a trailer?
Fuck you, Ray, for waking me up.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
I was, well, as you remember, I left. I got off. I said, I'm done. I gotta go, guys. I can't. I was crushed. You knew I was crushed. I was, because we were all so excited, and we thought that since we got that little 3-second clip, I mean, we should have gotten the trailer there. We should have. And now that it's December 10th, now breaking the tradition of the Godzilla MonsterVerse films not having their trailers on December 10th, I mean, it just makes it worse. And I was very disappointed. I mean, we were all so excited. And that Godzilla versus Kong teaser that they put before it, that's almost like an insult. I mean, it was cool. Don't get me wrong. But it's an insult.
Yeah.
And I am not happy with Warner Brothers because of it.
I agree.
I think I am I'm pissed. I'm still upset about it.
I am too. I can't even lie. And Pedro, yeah, I agree with you. I think this movie. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. Believe you me, buckle in, because there's some news, and it's not fun news. So hang out with us, and we're gonna talk about it. And I want to know what y'all think in the comments. Thanks for joining us, by the way. Yeah, it was just so disappointing because again, I mean, last year, we thought we might see it, before the smog monster was flying around the entire world, when the smog monster was just, relegated to China. CCXP pops up and it was like, all right, here comes the Sizzle Reel, we're gonna get it. And they showed Godzilla and Kong, and they showed Kong swinging at Godzilla, and And we were all excited, and nothing happened. And we were like, okay, they played us. And then we were like, all right, so it's gotta happen real soon, right? And it didn't. It didn't happen at all. And then again, Smog Monster comes, starts flying around the rest of the world, and everything starts getting shut down and pushed back and pushed back and shut down. And I'm like, of course this is gonna happen. They're not gonna show the trailer yet because the money reasons, and they're gonna hold off until like we look good and things look like we're gonna be in the clear. And that didn't happen. And we cut a whole year, and it gets pushed out of the November slot into May, and then Warner Brothers says, "Oh, this movie's gonna come out on HBO Max too, along with everything else dropping in 2021." And that's like exciting news for a lot of people, myself included. There are places where theaters aren't open at all. So if come May theaters are still closed down in your area, and you can't, even though you want to, go see Godzilla vs. Kong, well, you have the option of seeing it at the comfort of your own home. Perfect. That's dope. Thank you, Warner Brothers. Thank you, HBO Max. Thank you, everybody behind the scenes. That's amazing. That's what we thought. So cut this year. Now we have an official release date. We know it's coming out on HBO Max. We're all excited. And CCXP is right around the corner. Oh yeah, it's happening. They have to show. They're doing 6 hours? 6 hours worth of stuff? This is going to be nuts. So you know it's coming. We went on last week and was like, they're doing 6 hours worth of stuff. There's no way it doesn't get shown. It was an impossibility, because within that 6 hours, they're going to showcase all of their movies coming out in 2021, and Godzilla vs. Kong is a part of that. And then you get the Sizzle Reel, and there you have this amazing shot. And again, I just went buck wild. Everybody wake up. It's time. It's coming. And for 6 hours, we waited. And what we get? DC Fandom 2.0. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's not a fucking lie either. I mean, seriously, they didn't show anything and the slightest of what they were talking about. They didn't have they didn't show anything other than just a few movies, and they didn't even have any of the guest speakers come out that they said they were going to have too.
It was insane. It was insane.
It literally was like a big slap in the face, and it's like, how do you go a week promoting this thing as being one of the biggest shows that you want to put on, and you don't? It's literally a false advertisement.
It really
was.
It's
a lot.
It was. I mean, and for everybody here, I want to know, like, were y'all paying attention? Were you watching people live streaming the show? Were you on Facebook watching it? Exactly. It was the DC Fandom, and I agree, Andres. Absolutely, those idiots in Hollywood. We're gonna get to that, because trust me, there's some shit there.
And I got to make a big apology to everyone who was joining last week, because I was saying go buy tickets if you're interested. I hope none of you listen to me.
Yeah.
Because if I bought tickets for that event, I would have been pissed. So if you're mad at me, just know I had no clue going in, and so it's going to happen. I understand you're mad, but take it up with Warner Brothers at this point, because that was bad. That was just really horrible.
I hear you. Angelo rules. I don't want there to be a delay, but there is news right now that leads me to believe that if something doesn't happen, there is definitely going to be a delay. There's no word. It's not official right now, but we're going to get to that news in a minute. If you want to hang out, we're going to talk about why there is a possibility that Godzilla vs. Kong gets delayed again. And it's all right there on the screen. Legendary versus Warner Brothers. This is real. Like, shit went down behind the scenes. So now,
again, it's not just Legendary though. It's the whole movieverse.
right. But for the sake of this podcast, Godzilla, the Godzilla Blog Party, it's Legendary. But we're gonna talk about why. Anyhow, so apologies for last week if you were here and we riled everybody up and got y'all excited, because it was, again, it should have been, and it wasn't. So let's talk about what happened and my speculations. And honestly, this is what I believe the reason why we didn't get a trailer last week. So boom. We come, Sunday rolls around. They open up the show with this Sizzle Reel. They show all of their movies. They show video games. Godzilla vs. Kong has a clip in there. So, boom, it starts off with a bang. We're in. And it starts with Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry had a trailer a couple weeks ago, so yes, they can show the trailer. Boom. Then they go into Cartoon Network and Adult Swim. Warner Brothers owns all that. AT&T owns that. Yeah, there it is. Then it gets into DC stuff. Okay, fine. Then it gets into video game stuff. They start showing some Mortal Kombat stuff. Nothing new. Mortal Kombat Ultimate is out. There's nothing new here. So we're waiting patiently. All right, fine. And again, more DC, some comic book stuff. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. This is supposed to be a movie thing. Like, why are we talking about DC comic books? Why do we have a panel of people talking about the upcoming comic book slate? I'm a comic book fan. Michael Berrios, I'm with you, man. Listen, trust me when I tell you, I'm with you. And again, we're gonna get to it. There's some things. And Space Godzilla's creation, how you doing? I'm glad you're back, brother. It's good to see you. So all of this time, so we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I had no clue personally. But the movies they showed 4 movies. They showed Tom and Jerry, Dune, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman. And I'm left scratching my head and like, that's not the full slate. Where the fuck is Godzilla vs. Kong? That, in the chat, I had the Facebook feed from CCXP up on my computer. I was watching somebody live stream it on my TV. In the CCXP chat itself, you had to see us fans was out in force. Yo, we were all up in there. GVK, where's the trailer? GVK, like I couldn't believe it. It was flooding in, and you had the people who just like regular movie people, and they were like, "Oh, it's not about Godzilla versus Kong only. It's about shh, bro. We've waited way too long to see this fucking trailer. It is right now about Godzilla versus Kong. You cannot."
I'm sorry, I don't care, but I think the majority of those people that were there for that video on Facebook watching that, they were only there for Godzilla versus Kong. I mean, you see the mutiny of the Godzilla fans. I mean, we outnumbered the people that were in the minority.
There was a YouTube movie pundit that popped up in the chat, and everybody was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" Like, and she was nice, she was graceful, and I was like, okay, I'm not a personal fan of her, but then people were asking, "Hey, do you know anything about the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer?" Like, they were getting at her, and then she even got in on it. She was like, "Yeah, where is this Godzilla vs. Kong trailer?" And I was like, okay, I give you mad props for that. You saw that too, right, Pedro? We were there. We were watching it, and I mean, again, I can't lie. I threw in. My buddy JR threw in. I think you did too, right, brother Chase? You threw in. We threw in our GVK trailer rant. I mean, it was like, yo, the community there was so there. We were together. I was like, yes. And then nothing happened. Nothing. So again, we got 4 movies: Tom and Jerry, Dune, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, and we got trailers for all 4 of those. And the reason that I believe we got trailers for all 4 of those and nothing else is because those movies already had trailers that came out. Tom and Jerry, like I said, 2 weeks ago dropped a trailer. Dune about 2 months ago dropped a trailer. The Suicide Squad dropped the trailer at DC Fandom, and Wonder Woman's trailer's been out for, half a year already. So those things were already out. So I think what happened, not that I think, so what we find out afterwards is Warner Brothers never cleared it with most of these movies. Okay? Warner Brothers never cleared it with the people behind all of these movies, whether it was Godzilla vs. Kong, Dune, Mortal Kombat, that I didn't even know that it's slated to come out. It was disappointing, Christian. It definitely was. Mortal Kombat slated to come out in a month from like Monday. A month from Monday. It's supposed to come out January 15th. I had no clue. None. Zero clue. But there's a brand new Mortal Kombat movie, and it's supposed to come out in January 15th of 2021. That's like next week. It's right there. What's wrong? There was no trailer for that. Warner Brothers never talked to any of the people behind these movies. when they made the decision to put these movies same day on HBO Max and in theaters. So now there's a bunch of things now that turns into a litigation nightmare. That turns into lawyers and like just lawsuits, and there's a lot of red tape behind that. These other movies already had trailers. We can go ahead and drop that because you can even see during the CCXP, all of a sudden it just shifted and everything was about the DC universe. And at that moment, I couldn't even wrap I was still kind of upset. I'm like, what? Where the fuck? And I still held out hope. I was like, all right, there's still an hour left. They're gonna just for the last hour do the movies. They're just gonna show shit. It's gonna be dope. Even if it's a small sizzle, we're gonna get it. But they didn't. They did not at all. It was just old DC shit. And I'm like, you seen that shift. I think this is what I believe. What happened was, at that point in time, Warner Brothers said, yo, we cannot show these things because right now, we got the wolves at the door. There is there are like $17 billion worth of fucking movies that are pissed off. Money put into these movies, and they are mad. We can't do it. We can't show it. So what do? DC Fandom 2.0. And for anybody who are into the geek culture, outside of the Godzilla thing, outside of the Godzilla verse, the DC Fandom was this thing Warner Brothers put out in August that was quote unquote supposed to take over for Comic-Con for the DC stuff, where they did comic books, showcased all their movies, their TV shows, the works, the video games, the works. Yo, they literally just did the same fucking thing. And I was like, yes, Pedro, you're absolutely right. Should have been called DCXP. Absolutely right.
Yeah, you're going to have to tell me the stuff they're saying because I can't go on YouTube and look at what the audience is saying.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Let me just, I need to get some air in my room, so I'm going to put this fan on. But yeah, it just turned into the DC show again. And I was like, we did this already.
DC Fandom Part 2.
Yeah, version 2. So
continued.
So now everybody's pissed off. The fucking show goes off the air. We're all going nuts. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Right? And it's not just us. It's the people in the freaking thing. I mean, the CCXP show itself continued. The Warner Brothers panel was done. 6 hours worth, and all we got was 3 seconds. 3 seconds? Are you again? 2 years in a fucking row. 3 seconds. We got a grand total of 6 seconds of Godzilla vs. Kong. Actual moving footage. 6. And it's unbelievable. It drives me up a fucking wall. So, yeah, I mean, completely pissed off. I feel terrible because, again, like I was telling people this is happening. I was texting people the links. My brother, I was like, yo, dude, get up on it because this is happening and all this shit. Well, come to find out as the week progressed, Monday and Tuesday, the Hollywood Reporter, and I'm just going to read you this excerpt from this article because this is an important thing when it comes to Godzilla vs. Kong. This is very, very important. So I'm going to read you this excerpt from a Hollywood Reporter article that came out this week in regards to what's going on behind the scenes. This right here, this particular paragraph is strictly about Godzilla vs. Kong. So, bear with me, people. It's been a minute. Let me go. All right. Here's the quote. Many think Legendary will be the first to file a legal challenge. The company fired off a previous lawyer letter after Netflix offered something north of $225 million for the rights to Godzilla vs. Kong, which has seen its release date move from March 2020 to November to May 2021. Though Legendary financed 75% of the movie, Warner Brothers had the power to block the sale and did it. Legendary asked whether the studio would then give it a deal to stream the movie on HBO Max and got no clear answer until its executives woke up one December morning to find that the movie was going day and date on the service without the benefit of a negotiation. Now that's important. That's the end quote. That's the part of the article I wanted to read out. That's extremely important. Basically, the people who made Godzilla vs. Kong found out that their movie was going to the streaming service the same day it was coming to theaters, at the same time we all found out. They didn't get a phone call. They didn't get an email. They didn't get a knock on the door, which they shouldn't anyway, because again, smog monsters flying around making people sick. They didn't get nothing. Nothing. They found out with us, the fans.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we like to call bad business.
For real. Like, yo, how do you put your heart and soul into a fucking movie for 2.5 years, right? And then you come to find out all that hard work is going straight to streaming. Now, look. Pushing my buttons too, Pedro. They pushing my buttons too. Now, look. If Warner Brothers would have went to these movies and said, hey, listen, this shit ain't, like, it don't look like we're going to be able to open theaters the way we want to. We don't think we're going to be able to get this money back. What we want to do, though, is promote our streaming service, and we want to use your movies as the jump-off point. Then they can negotiate that way. But Warner Brothers didn't do that. They went behind their backs and just was like, fuck it, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. And that is wrong. Now, why is this important? I'm going to tell you why. And I found this out, of course, through reading and YouTube. YouTube's very, very resourceful. Wonder Woman is coming out in 2 weeks on HBO Max. Now, the people behind Wonder Woman, Patty Jenkins, Gal Gadot, all the people, the producers, whatever, the director, they were like, this movie's not going to streaming. No way, Jose. This is not going to streaming. This is staying in theaters. End the story. Well, come to find out, over this week, Warner Brothers went up to them and was like, yo, we need this movie to come out, and we need to stream this movie. So, here's what we're gonna do. We think Wonder Woman has the potential to make $1 billion. Maybe it make a little more, maybe it make a little less, but we see the baseline at $1 billion. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give you $1 billion. So that's important because under contracts, in negotiating contracts, they have incentives. So if they hit, let's say, I'm just making numbers, if they hit, like, let's say $2 million at the box office, they can get X amount of money. If they hit $3 million, they can get X amount of money more, and so on and so forth. So now, that being said, you take the movie out of the theaters, you're not going to hit any of that box office money. You're not going to, because it's not in theaters, you're not going to hit $2 million. You're not going to get your money that you put in the contract. So Warner Brothers was like, look, we think this movie is going to make $1 billion. A little more, a little less, it doesn't matter, but baseline $1 billion. Here's $1 billion. We give you all your contract, right? We cover your contract negotiations. All of that should cover it. Bam. The people behind Wonder Woman was like, fine, yeah, okay. They got their money, and they put it on HBO Max, and it's coming out in theaters still too. Warner Brothers needs to do that with the rest of their fucking slate. Warner Brothers needs to do that with Godzilla vs. Kong. Warner Brothers needs to do that with Dune. The guy who made Dune, Denis Villeneuve, whatever, he came out and he wrote an article in one of these, big newspapers, and he straight up murked Warner Brothers. Christopher Nolan came out and murked Warner Brothers. Like, ripped them new assholes. They just, like, spit on them. You got Hollywood right now going at Warner Brothers like, what are you doing? What are you doing? The first thing they say in this article, and the first sentence they say in this article regarding Godzilla vs. Kong is, many think Legendary will be the first to file a legal challenge. They're going to go to court. Now,
yeah, and it was said that it's either going to be today or later that they will release challenge papers to Warner Brothers. It's not like a matter of if they are or not. It's a matter of when.
Right. Now, here's where this affects us. I mean, it really don't, but this is where it affects the movie. This is where it affects Godzilla vs. Kong.
Which affects us.
Well, yeah, it does affect us. It really does, because we've been patiently waiting, and now the patience it's running pretty fucking thin. It really is. And I'm pretty sure I can speak for, a lot of G fans when I say enough is enough. Y'all gotta show us something. Like, give us something. Like, I don't get it. But if there is legal issues coming, then Warner Brothers can't do anything right now. Their hands are tied because then they're gonna have to go through the court. So, one or two things is gonna have to happen. Okay, one or two things is gonna happen. I would say Warner Brothers is gonna have to make a deal with all of these other movies the same way they made a deal with Wonder Woman. Now, I'm not gonna say $1 billion. What I'm gonna say though is they're gonna have to go up to these movies and be like, okay, we think. Take Godzilla vs. Kong as a perfect example. We look at 2014 Godzilla, we look at Kong Skull Island, and we look at Godzilla King of the Monsters, and we see what the rough estimate this thing would make, right? Now, we're taking both of these monsters and we're putting them together. That's iconic. That doesn't happen all the time. So now, me personally, I'd be like, look, if I was like a producer behind Godzilla vs. Kong, I'd be like, yo, it don't matter if the movie started to go on a decline, every movie. We got both of them in the same movie. This is going to be the biggest one of all. People are going to come to see this. We got to play on nostalgia. We got to play on a lot of things. People will come to see Godzilla fight Kong. Like, not just us fans. But it's a thing. It promoted right, gets in the public psych, and you're in. So, let's say the baseline Warner Brothers needs to come at them with like 750 million, maybe 800 million. I would love for this movie, if there was no such thing as the smog monster flying around right now, causing people getting sick and dying. If everything was open, I would have loved to see this movie break $1 billion because it's the two biggest monsters in the entire world fighting on the big screen in 2020 or 2021 now. How crazy is that? But realistically, Warner Brothers is going to go and be like, all right, look at the trajectory. Sorry, very hard to say that word. Look at the trajectory of this franchise. We can round about this number and give you this much money. And then Legendary could come back and negotiate and be like, oh, maybe we want 100 million more or something. And then boom, all right, cool, case closed. If they do that, if they come to an agreement without having to go to courts, then Godzilla vs. Kong is coming out May 2021. Perfect. But if they don't do that, and Warner Brothers wants to play fucking hardball, then they're going to go to litigation, then they're going to go to the courts, and if they go to the courts, that means they can't release anything for this movie right now. Anything. Trailer. Nothing.
Yeah,
they got the toys. The toys are out, right? We've got 6 seconds of actual footage, and we've got a lovely promo pic for the toys, the back of the box, Godzilla and Kong on the aircraft carrier. That's all we have. We have a logo. We have a logo. But that's all we got. If this shit goes to court, that's all we're gonna get until they fucking figure it out. And that is what I'm afraid of. And that's why this title says, could it be delayed again?
Which could take year or years.
No, I wouldn't say years. Okay. If it goes to court, I can't see it coming out. I mean, still, May is what, like, the movie's 6 months away as it stands right now. But if this thing goes to court, this might get pushed back to next year this time. But then if that's the case, and mind you, this is another thing that I can't stand saying, but it is what it is. That Dune movie, they were basing a whole trilogy around that. Like, they wanted to make a stupid amount of movies, but like this first book was supposed to be a trilogy, and they went at Warner Brothers and was like, how could we justify a trilogy if this movie makes no box office? Right? If you're going to just put it on...
And also, if this director who's tied with Dune is pissed at Warner Brothers, he probably won't make more.
Oh, he's pissed, man. He's
one to go jump off a cliff.
Yeah, I was listening to some of the stuff that he wrote in the article, and no, he's pissed. He's like, yo, this movie is meant to be seen in a movie theater. And honestly, when he was saying all this stuff, it really started to hit me. Because remember last week, I was like, I don't need to go see this in the movie. I don't need to see Godzilla vs. Kong in the movie. I pretty much have like a movie set up in my house. I'm comfortable here. But as I'm listening to what he was saying, I'm sitting like about Dune. I'm sitting there. I'm like, yeah, you know what? he's he's. I don't want to see Dune. I never did. That's not one of my things. I'm not into it. Never been. Um, but the way he was describing it and how it's made for the theater, all I kept thinking about was Godzilla and Kong, and I was like, oh shit, like yeah, maybe I need to stop being a dickhead and go see this shit in the theater. Again, also dependent on if the smog monster is still around, which I hope not. Vaccines are coming. Hey, everybody, if you want to get vaccinated, get vaccinated. If you don't, don't. All good in my book. It doesn't matter. Let's just all stay healthy so we can all go see the movie. That's all I care about. But if they go to court, bro, we might not see a trailer no time soon. And this shit might get pushed back. And if this shit gets pushed back again, what? Toho better pick up the motherfucking phone and be like, all right, look, we're going to make another Godzilla movie right away. We're going to do it.
And that's another thing you have to keep in mind, that it's not just Legendary that's getting fucked with this too. It's also Toho. Because Toho is still, in their contracts, they still have ties financially.
Right. And they're on a timeline too, aren't they? Like, don't they want to start pumping out movies?
Well, that's the thing. They haven't said anything for about a year now, what their plans are, other than the anime. Their original plan was, before they signed that partnership contract with Legendary, we're going to make movies after Godzilla versus Kong. But then they made that partnership contract with Legendary, and then they were quiet about it, and they didn't say anything since. And instead, it was merchandise and animes. So something must have changed, and I think something did. But like we saw a couple of months ago with that picture of the 7 other Godzilla movie slated stuff they had going, I mean, who knows what they had planned. But I think right now, though, Toho's not going to be very happy either.
See, and again, this is what scares me. Godzilla vs. Kong, if anything showcased that CCXP stream, that chat box, the fans were showing up and showing out, and I loved it. I sat there and I was like, yo, this is the type of community I love. Like, we all together, we want it. Why can't y'all just drop it? What the fuck? And again, now after everything that comes out, you come to realize there was a lot of backstage politicking happening, and it was maybe they couldn't. Maybe legally right now their hands were in a bind because now.
But you know what about it though? That 3-second clip we got because of that, I want to be like, you give back Legendary their trailer teaser. Dude, you don't deserve to show that, Warner Brothers.
So and again, like, yo, for anybody, if you put 75% of your money into this movie, and then you get sideswiped with, we're also going to just drop it on home streaming same day as theaters. A lot of people are going to go to the theaters, but more people ain't. That's the truth. No, you just watch it at home. And then not only that, the pirating, that's going to happen. It's going to happen.
The bottom line is that you basically asked me to do more of the homework, and I got the grade we needed, and you're taking all the credit.
Right. Right. So,
and that's not good, Warner Brothers. You basically robbed all of your partners.
And what is crazy is it's not just Godzilla versus Kong.
Right.
It is 17 fucking big budget movies that were coming out that Warner Brothers and AT&T are going to have to sit down and negotiate with, and or it's going to court. Godzilla versus Kong.
I honestly don't know if Warner Brothers has that type of money.
No, they do. They do. And I think about this too. They just, oh my God, they just sold Crunchyroll to Sony for like $1.6 billion this week, which is crazy. So
that's right.
Look, they're cleaning house. That's scary to say, but they're cleaning house. They're getting rid of shit they don't need. But they're making revenue from that, and that's AT&T owns all this shit. AT&T is the top of the fucking thing. So who's making these decisions? I don't know. I heard something today. I watched something, and somebody said that it wasn't uh, it wasn't AT&T that made this move. It was actually Warner Brothers who made this move, which was kind of like a slap in the face because at first you would think it's AT&T doing this because it's AT&T. They don't give a fuck about the movies, right? They just want money, 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 money. Warner Brothers is a movie studio. You would think that you want the best directors, the best producers, the best stars to come to your studio and make movies. You would think that. So they're not going to fuck anything up. They're not going to fuck up a relationship with that, right? No, apparently they did. Apparently they was like, fuck it, we're just going to fuck it. Because they want to fucking compete with Disney Plus. No, don't compete with Disney Plus. Don't compete with Netflix. Don't compete with Amazon Prime. Do you. Do you. And again, Godzilla vs. Kong kind of falls down the list a bit because you still got... Dune is probably their number one thing, and then Suicide Squad. Because, make no mistake about it, James Gunn is hot property. Okay? Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, that shit turned out for Marvel. And then when Disney got rid of him because of tweets he made 90 years ago, DC scooped him up and was like, no, fuck it, make a Suicide Squad movie. Come on. It's sure shit he does. Well, they did it to James Gunn, they jerked him. They didn't tell James Gunn that they were throwing this shit on HBO Max. James Gunn's thinking he's going to make money with the clauses in his contract come opening movie time, and now he's not. So he's pissed. Suicide Squad's going to be ahead of Godzilla vs. Kong. Well, I think Steven Spielberg was doing something in there. I'm pretty sure they're going to put him in front of Godzilla vs. Kong. The In the Heights movie, like movies we don't really care about. I mean, unless you're a cinephile. But movies that we personally, that are here for this particular thing, Godzilla, movies we wouldn't care about, but they might be more important to Warner Brothers than Godzilla vs. Kong. We're going to fall by the wayside because we're a genre. You know what I mean? Because we're a genre film. It's Godzilla. It's a giant monster movie. And it's fucked up to think that way, right? But, and here's the silver lining, if there could be a silver lining, they were saying that Legendary would be the first to file this lawsuit if it gets to that point. So if Legendary on behalf of Godzilla vs. Kong is the first to file, and it's not even that because Legendary also backed more than 75% for Doom. So it's Godzilla vs. Kong and Doom that Legendary is going to war with Warner Brothers for. It's both of those movies. You know? So if Legendary's going to bat first with this lawsuit, then yeah, maybe we get some good news out of the Godzilla vs. Kong camp and Doom. You know what I mean? But fucking time will tell. It's unbelievable, but that's and honestly, this is a really good reason why I believe we didn't get the trailer on Sunday because they got put in and the reason we didn't get any other trailer either for any other movie that we haven't seen the trailer for yet. The only trailers we got were for movies that already had trailers. So that lends credence and credit to this scenario that Warner Brothers didn't do anything and turned their 6-hour CCXP show into DC Fandom 2.0 because the movie studios were coming at them, the producers, the legendaries, and everybody else, the directors and shit, were like, no fucking way. You're not showing any of our shit because you're not going to play us and get away with that shit. And they have every right to say that and do so. And it's unfortunate for us fans because we're the ones that suffer. We suffer in the end because we're so passionate and want it. We want to see it. And it doesn't happen. And it's fucking unfortunate. And it doesn't happen. That's why I hope to the high holy Toho, I hope that this shit gets straightened out so Godzilla vs. Kong still comes out in May 2021. That Warner Brothers and AT&T gives the people behind Godzilla vs. Kong. And remember, this is the one thing that really goes crazy. Legendary was trying to get this movie. Legendary was like, yo, we want to buy the movie. We want to buy the movie. And Warner Brothers was like, yeah. How the fuck? Like, You put in 25% of this movie. Legendary put in 75, and you're cock blocking? Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck out of here. But it is what it is. And Legendary was like, okay, all right, so make us a deal. Make us a deal, Warner Brothers. Make us a deal, HBO. What's up? And they didn't. Here's the deal. You go to bed and wake up with everybody else and find out that your fucking movie is on HBO Max same day it comes out in theaters. How's that? And that's not right. That's not, yo, I would never do business with Warner Brothers again. I'd be like, fuck you, Warner Brothers. I'm going to Sony. I'm going to Disney. Fuck that. I'm going to go make a fucking Marvel movie. I'm going to make Star Wars. You know what I'm
But
saying?
you want to know what the sad thing is about this is that if Godzilla versus Kong was going to have the chance to getting a continuation after the movie, this probably just ended all hope of that.
That is absolutely true, and that is such an unfortunate reality.
And that is really sad, and I'm really sad about that. I mean, if Legendary and Warner Brothers can make up, cool, but I doubt it. I bet this just really pissed off Legendary to the point where they're like, nope, sorry. And that's what sucks, you know? I mean, now that doesn't mean, because since Warner Brothers owns the license, not Legendary, you know, it doesn't mean Warner Brothers might not try and find another studio if they really wanted a continuation, but yet again, will that studio they find be willing to work with them as well?
Yeah.
You know, so it's just sad, though, because that could mean not some good business, but hey, if we can live in a world where Predator gets another sequel after the last movie, who knows?
Oh, this just in, I just found, I'm picking up a faint signal. Sony just bought the rights to Godzilla. No!
And it's me.
No! As of 2020.
And I'm going to have Destroyer in it.
Look, at this point in time, Destroyer's already there, and it's called Warner Brothers.
Oh, God. The Oxygen Warner Brothers.
Yeah, dude. It's sad because literally it sucks the life right out of you when you find out that it's shady business dealings. And as a fan, we don't know nothing. I'm fucking super passionate about this shit. Like, legit, I might not come across like I am, but I really am. That's why, like, I pay attention to all of the backstory. Because I was again, confused. Why the fuck didn't they show this shit? It should have happened. But the way the whole programming of that CCXP thing shifted to all DC, it was just random and odd. And, like, why? There had to be a reasoning why. And then after, like, Monday and Tuesday, you come to find out that Warner Brothers did some really shady stuff. And it's and I'm like, wow, 1 and 1 makes 2, and fuck, a pox on us, we didn't get it. But, you know.
Yeah, and then on the other hand, we have Godzilla Singular Point, at least, and they're kind of hinting they're going to be showing something soon. But yet again, last time Toho did that, it was like 4 months after they said that. So
yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm not even so worried about Singular Point right now.
I'm not either.
It come April, then, you know, once it rolls around, I'm like, all right, I'm excited. But as of right now, like, my mind with Godzilla is so caught up with this. Now, I will say this. I read something. I don't believe it, but I read something. I'm going to throw this out there. And y'all can believe it or not. Completely up to y'all. But on Monday, on one of the Facebook sites that I frequent, I saw something that said this group saw the trailer and that they have connections within Legendary and that they know exactly when the trailer is going to drop. And the trailer, they said, was going to drop on Boxing Day, basically December 26th. I didn't know what Boxing Day was. I hate Christmas. I'm sorry. I don't hate Christmas. I don't. But, it's not the same when your kid's grown up. It's not the same. It's so much better when the kids are small. You just buy them a couple of toys.
In everything sci-fied, as we all know, that place, say that, we have connections with so-and-so.
No, it wasn't sci-fi.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, because we all know how reliable sci-fi is. I'm just saying, if it comes from anyone saying, if it starts off with them saying, we have connections, it's a lie.
You know, it's funny though, and I'm
Because if
not.
you had connections, you would not have permission either way.
Well, that's not technically true. They can't. You could say I got connections, but I can't tell you what they said. And then I'm like, okay, so you don't have any connections, right? But they could, and maybe they could drop a tidbit without giving the connection's name out, and they could get away with it. But like they will. I was just confused. Like, you saw the trailer, and what was it? Like, tell us what it was. Give us something. Like, if you saw the fucking trailer, wouldn't you want to just like say, "Yo, this is the trailer"? You read at your own risk. It's real simple. It's just the trailer. You're gonna watch it anyway, right? Well, most of us
Right.
are. You might have one or two of us that like, I'm not watching shit until it comes out. So if you seen the trailer, what the fuck was in the trailer? And I seen a couple of people going at them, and then next thing you know, the comment section was off. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm just saying, if you saw the trailer, what was in it? Tell us. Tell us. And then another reason why I kind of didn't believe it is because the page count is very minimal, and they've been around for quite some time. So I'm like, if you had connections, you'd be dropping news like a certain news site for
Right.
Godzilla that I don't like.
Especially with the few Godzilla news pages that are out there,
Mm-hmm.
you would be wanting to put those pages into the dirt.
Exactly. So
I mean, I know I would. I'd be gloating.
right, and again, how I introduce you every podcast, my right hand when it comes to Godzilla on the G Show. You are my news guy. You're the one that's up all hours of the night trying to get all the news when Japan is, in the middle of their workday. You're getting. I'm asleep. Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta shut my phone off because like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, my phone's blowing up and his brother Cheese here like, yo, guess what happened? I don't know. I was about to have a really nice wet dream, but you just woke me up. Thank you. I
was on the beach.
Yeah.
I was on the beach with this porn star that I like, and
Serious,
then
man.
you ruined it.
Oh goodness, I gotta shut my phone off. But that, you're my news source. You are my news source, and if you haven't seen nothing, and the news sources that normally get that shit didn't see anything, I don't buy it. But just in case you believe, they said that the trailer is going to drop for Godzilla vs. Kong. This is not from me. This is from a source. They said the trailer is going to drop on December 26th. So in 2 weeks, according to this site, we should see a Godzilla vs. Kong trailer. Now, I'm not holding my breath. I'm definitely not holding my
neither.
breath.
I mean, I'll believe it. I mean, if it happens, great, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
I'll believe it when I see it. It's just, I mean, that would be you got to think. The only way we would get a trailer is if Legendary and Warner Brothers both shook hands on it.
And now here's the funny thing. Like, I thought that before anything, before CCXP, before last week, before the fiasco, I was like, yo, maybe we get a trailer with Wonder Woman 84. Like, maybe HBO Max does what they do in the movie theaters and give us 10 minutes worth of trailers before the movie starts. I'm okay with that. You could skip it if you want, right? Like, you got the power in your hand. Just move the cursor over and get to the movie. I thought maybe we would see that. So, Godzilla vs. Kong coming out on the 26th as opposed to the 25th, not so far off. Again, I'm not holding my breath, but just in case that's out there floating around, and I don't know if it does come out on the 26th. I give them super props. I'll subscribe to their fucking Facebook page. I would be all on it, and we will absolutely be here tearing that trailer apart. Like, yo, what the fuck, breaking it down, because you look at this picture of Kong. Why does Kong have a collar on his neck? I don't know. I'm excited. I love Godzilla swimming up from the depths. Like, very awesome. Very, very awesome. I just wish it was more than 3 seconds. Like, I really do.
Yeah, I mean, they were great 3 seconds, but, I mean, all I'm excited about from that is the daytime shots. That's what I'm, like, holding on to, is that at least we got Kong in the daytime roaring, and I'm sure that's Godzilla he's roaring at, because that looks like the scene of them on the aircraft carrier.
Yeah, could be a craft carrier. Could be they're on some shore. It's docked right off of some shore because it looks like there's a city behind them.
What's interesting is that if you watch that Kong part in like a loop, you can see the ships in the background. They look like battle cruisers,
Oh yeah,
and
I can see it.
they're swimming around. Like, are we gonna have ships firing at Godzilla and Kong during this? Bring it!
Bring
Bring
it.
that classic Toho.
I love it. I that one of my favorite things in 2014 is when the battleships open fire on Godzilla as he's coming up into the Golden Gate Bridge. I love that shot, man. I
Right,
love
and
that.
like I said, that's one of my favorite parts of King of the Monsters is in when the jets are firing at Rodan. I mean, give
Yes,
us more of that, more military, more craziness. Just do it.
that's right. Helicopters shooting at Kong in Vietnam times. Let's do it. Get it?
Is that a monkey?
Is that a
Kong throwing palm trees.
I was actually gonna watch Kong Skull Island today. Like I was like I need to watch that movie for whatever reason. I was in the freaking mood to watch it, and then I didn't. I just sat around and I don't know watching. I'm reading comic books actually. So
Well, you have any time to do that. You could do that still, or you could just go to bed.
that's true. I will say probably just go to bed. But yeah. So I know a lot of people were pissed off about last week. We were there with you. Like Community showed out again. I loved it, and Warner Brothers they played everybody, not just us. They literally played the people making these movies. Like, and it's fucked up. It is. It's bad. It's bad business, and now they have a lot of bad blood between them. And again, hopefully this doesn't go to the courts, because if it goes to the courts, we will not see Godzilla versus Kong anytime soon, and that's not a good thing. So let's hope that they can make a gentleman's agreement, um, shake on it, and give them what they want. You know, well, not even what they want, but what they feel is justifiable, and that's what it is. Wonder Woman, it was justified that it could possibly make $1 billion. Even if it made 900 million, they rounded it up. Here's $1 billion. There you go. They got to do that same thing to each and every movie that's coming out on HBO Max, same day as it comes out in theaters. And like, if that article is to be believed, Legendary is going to be first up in line, because they're going to be the first ones to the court and be like, "Yo, let's make this happen. Let's make it happen."
And in a perfect, what I would like to happen in a perfect world is in regards to this Godzilla versus Kong stuff and Warner Brothers and Legendary just say, all right, we were sorry. We shouldn't have done what we did. Let's just get past it. Let's still remain friends and leave it at that. But I know how stuff like this in the movie business, I'm sure in the business world works. That's not how it really goes.
Right.
And that's just a shame because Legendary has been a supporter for Warner Brothers for almost 2 decades, if I'm mistaken.
Yeah, for
Almost 2 decades.
I mean, I know the first time I seen them together was the Batman movies, Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. Like that's when I was like, oh, Warner Brothers Legend. Like, I'm pretty sure I've seen Legendary pop up in several different places, but that was the first time I recognized it together. Like, okay, like Legendary, and I was like, I like this company. They make movies for me. Batman, monster movies, like The Great Wall. Like the type of movies they make, I'm into. I'm into that stuff. So once they were like, we're making Godzilla, I was like, oh shit, be still my beating heart. I'm with it. And then they were like, we're doing all of it. And I'm like, oh my God, we're getting Godzilla versus Kong. How fucking crazy. King Ghidorah, Rodan, Mothra. Oh my God. And here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. Stuck. Oh, stuck. But listen, brother, that's about wraps it up. I'm gonna call it here. I hope y'all out there, don't be mad at me. Please don't be mad at us, but you can if you want. This is just what we believe. Hopefully, they make the right decisions, and we don't have to wait for Godzilla versus Kong. We will get it when it comes. The best thing that could happen, honestly, is that they go, okay. We're gonna give you your money, and we're gonna, for the fans, we're just gonna put it out in January. And I'll be like, yeah.
Actually, that's actually a pretty good point. Is like, thinking about it, if Warner Brothers really wanted to put it on their streaming service and Legendary was okay with it, why would they wait till May? I mean, why not March? Why not February? Why not April?
Because I think they still, with the whole idea of a vaccine, they still believe that by that time, more people will be out and about and possibly going back to the theaters. So they think they can make some money off of that. And I mean, again, that's not a bad business move at all. That's actually, the right thing to do technically. But the worst thing that could happen happened, and that was them not telling anybody that they were dropping these movies on HBO Max the same day. So you wake up thinking, all right, look, we're probably not going to make all of this money because of the pandemic, but we'll make some money, and it'll get out in theaters and people will enjoy it. But then when it comes to, we might not make any money now, because if everybody decides to just stay home, you know what I mean? Like, it won't be, right. It would be terrible. That's a terrible situation. That's when it gets bad, and I'm just hoping that they really do come through for all of these movies, for everybody involved with these movies. I hope they come through and give them their money, so that when they do stream on HBO Max, the people making these movies are already paid in the shade and hanging out and watching our reactions. Because again, if I know Osvaldo, I know we are pissed off right along with you. Because if last Sunday's chat was any indication, in that CCXP, whatever, man, it's time. We want it. And stupid Warner Brothers done ruined it for us. No, but they could give us a fucking Harry Potter game, right? You sons of bitches. I don't care about no damn Harry Potter game. Give me Godzilla versus Kong. I don't hate Harry Potter, people. I like Harry Potter. My wife loves it. She'll kill me. But yeah, I just disgusting, disturbing, just terrible news. And hopefully, they square it away and we could all come out very, very happy. But yeah, listen, brother man, thank you for joining today. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you all for joining.
Yeah, thank you all for joining. Hopefully next week we'll come back with some good news. It would be great. If not, I don't know. We'll talk some Godzilla stuff. We'll talk Godzilla. We will. That's what we'll do. We'll talk about what we're watching. I'm about to watch Godzilla vs. Mothra right now, 1992, because I just finished King Ghidorah. So, very good. All right, y'all. Appreciate all of y'all out there. Seriously, spread the love. Stay safe, everybody. Godzilla vs. Kong, hopefully coming soon. Fingers crossed. Let's make it all happen, all right? We are out of here. Peace.